lead is going through his rut, and they have a contract. If the main character doesn't show up for his rut, the main character has breached their contract, and he gets to have the main character whenever he wants to have the main character. Not anymore just once a week or during his ruts. Since the main character has been kidnapped, he has kind of breached their contract, and since he was preparing to flee, it looks like he's fled instead of being captured. Biggie Malleed points out to his two right-hand men, who's trying to make this point to him, that the main character wouldn't abandon his mother and son, and if he was gonna flee, he would have taken them with him, which he was planning to before he was captured. But yes, he tells his men to go search for the main character, and he tells his second right-hand man to stop making certain comments about the main character, because the main character is more talented and skillful than they think he is. He points out all the reasons why he's pretty sure the main character is very talented and skillful, and he tells them to go get the main character and bring him here. The main character escapes his kidnappers, returns back home. The Malleed is waiting for him. The Malleed tells him, "I'm upset over you breaching our contract, but I also want to know what happened to you. Who did this to you?" Like, he has 100 questions towards the main character, but he also is trying not to pry because the main character hates when people pries on him. And the main character is refusing to answer any of his questions, which also frustrates me. I'm like, talk to him, explain things to him. This man has been good to you since he's shown up. He's been really good to you, especially for a person who's in his kind of business. He's been good to you, and this is how you pay him back, dude? You've been just rude and cold to him this entire time. Like, honey, calm yourself. Just explain what's going on, because him being close to you, you're dragging him into your stuff. He's already into your stuff. So please just tell him what's going on. That is all the good I want you to give him. You don't have to be nice and caring and supporting to him. You just at least tell him what's going on, because you have dragged him into your business. Your stepfather wants him dead. Just tell him what's going on. So the main character's stepfather sicks a bunch of men onto the main character Malleed while they're hiding in the main character's store. And I mean bullets flying everywhere. The main character shooting back with his own hidden weapons, and he's hands over a hidden weapon to the Malleed, and the Malleed's shocked. One, by what kind of weapons they are, and two, that the main character had these in his stores, and three, because the main character is a cold-calibrated killer. Like, the main character has no emotions or care about the people he's getting rid of. Like, he looks like a murderous machine. It kind of terrifies the Malleed, honestly. The Malleed thinks of his own grandfather, who is a mafia boss, and his grandfather wouldn't care for life, like would get rid of someone who just makes a small mistake, but he honestly thinks his grandfather has more emotions to death than the main character does. The main character and the Malleed, they escape through the Malleed's car, and once they get to a certain spot, the main character kicks the Malleed out of his car and takes his keys, and the Malleed is like, "No, you're not doing this. You're not emotionally kicking me out of my car after we went through this together and stealing my car. You're gonna answer me. I'm not gonna pry what's going on, but I need to know some facts. Just tell me what's going on." And the main character refuses to talk to him. He just tells the Malleed to trust him, that he can handle this and to take care of his mother and son and not to do anything to them, to protect them. And he promises him that once he returns, he will pay the Malleed back, like pay him back in the bedroom. And the Malleed finally relentlessly agrees to get out of the car, even though he was technically pushed and forced out of the car and his car stolen as the main character disappears. The main character just randomly leaves him somewhere. I guess it could have been at the Malleed's place, but I wasn't really sure where. He just randomly left the Malleed, because once the Malleed returns back home, his men were terrified for him. They wanted to know where he was. And he tells them, "Oh, I just dealt with the main character and I need information now." Once he gets home, the Malleed goes straight to his cousin, and his first right-hand man is following him, and he tells his first right-hand man and his cousin what he witnessed the main character do. And he needs his cousin to break into the police department's database and find out who the guys who attacked the main character's shop was. He needs information about them, and his cousin agrees to do it. The cousin is kind of impressed by the main character's skills and abilities. The main character goes to the place he was keeping the document, gets the document out of his hiding place, and I think he was going to finally hand over the document to his ex-co-worker and was trying to get in contact with this dude. But by the time the dude picked up and tried to talk to the main character had gotten a call from his stepfather, and his stepfather telling him that he was going after the main character's son and mother. And I'm like, I told you. Even if you didn't go against this man, even if you didn't fight against this man and hand over the document to this somebody else, this dude was going to go after your son. No matter what choice you made, he was going to go after your son. But you refused to listen to me. You got to listen to me. You got to think things through. Stop being irrational and actually be rational and think things through. But nope, you waited too late and now your son is in danger. Think about that. Think about it. Melly wanted his son and the main character's mother to move into his home. He had everything prepared and ready for them. He was just waiting for the woman to agree. And she agreed. And by the time she agreed to move in, they were under attack by the stepfather's men. And the Melli's men suffered for it. Several of them ended up passing away under the attack. By the time the main character and Melly makes it to the location, and the main character is badly injured trying to get to his son and get to his mother, it's too late. His mother and his son are both captured and taken away. And the male lead uses his own body to protect the main character. He also has to stop the main character from rushing to his son and his mother and try to save them, because it was kind of too late. All he would do is get himself killed. Cousin, he has all the information. He has information about the mercenaries who hired them, which was the main character's stepfather. He has information about who the stepfather is. He has information about the main character's true career before he went on the run. He has information about the fact that the main character had two identities, and his second identity is where his career is tied to, where his stepfather's tied to. His second identity is also tied to his father's second identity, which is tied to the stepfather. That is why they couldn't find any information about the stepfather, is because their second identities are tied to his stepfather. And in his second identity, his stepfather's adopted son, not his stepchild. And that the main character was raised to be a soldier. His entire life, he was raised as a soldier the moment his stepfather got his hands on him. If the mother had known about this, she would have stopped that. That's why they kept her from having any ties or connections to her son, is because she wouldn't have allowed her son to be raised as the perfect little soldier. His father was a CIA agent who was too busy with his career to notice or probably care. And if he did know his son was being raised as a soldier by his current husband, then he's a horrible father. Like, just a terrible father for not doing anything to stop the way his son was being raised. But I guess he was too busy in his career to realize or care. Or if he knew, he just didn't care about his son. It also was discussed that he kept his ex-wife away from their child. It's just terrible. He was a terrible man. Another thing, the cousin finds out that the last mission the main character was on was a mission to go after the male lead. And he tells the male lead to cut off everything with the main character for his own good. And obviously, the male lead's not going to take his cousin's advice. He's going to do what he wants. The male lead finds the main character in their son's room, and in the most emotionless, cold voice, the main character asks the male lead if he would help rescue and save his mother and their son. Obviously, the male lead's going to do that. Obviously. And the main character also asked him how the male lead would feel if he wanted to get rid of someone in a high position. Obviously, I don't think the male lead would care. I think the male lead would help, obviously, especially if this person has been constantly going after him and the main character. But I think it's ridiculous. The main character decides to go after his stepfather after his mother and son were put in danger instead of going beforehand. Like, he spent 4 years on the run away from this man. But the moment the man finally goes after his mother and son, he actually tries to do something. Kind of angers me and frustrates me.